Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. To me, we've got a real special build today. We're going to do a Hot Wheels Indy Eagle. These cars were modeled after Indianapolis type race cars, and these were released in 1969 as part of what is called the Grand Prix series. Now, the finish on this is not in very good shape. It doesn't look like it here. It looks pretty good actually, but it's not. The finish is actually very dull, and there are some paint chips missing off the car, etc. We're going to go ahead and get this apart, and we're going to do a complete restoration on this car. So go ahead and grab your favorite adult beverage and stick around. Let's have some fun with this and enjoy today's restoration of this Hot Wheels Indy Eagle. Let's get started. I've already drilled out the post. Now, if you have questions about drilling out post, I have a how-to series on how to take apart a die-cast car, and you can look for the how-to series on the playlist section of the videos for the channel. So go ahead and check that out, and there's many other how-tos there, such as how to choose an air compressor and how to choose an airbrush, etc., etc. So please check it out. So here's the body. Like I said, the finish is extremely dull. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to brighten that up and liven that up. We're going to use the original blue that this car came with, maybe a little bit darker shade. Here's the base. That's in pretty good shape overall. We got 4-cap style wheels. Here's the engine for the back. The chrome has worn off some, so we'll touch that up with a Molotow chrome pen. Here's the interior and the windshield. Interior needs to be cleaned up. Now the windshield also, yeah, that's pretty dirty. The windshield also, we're going to sand it down and file it down a little bit to get rid of that white worn out look on top of the windshield. Here we've got the car. We're going to put it in the embalming fluid. Now, even though we're going to repaint the car blue, we still want to get as much of the old paint off because we don't want anything interfering with the application of the new paint. So go ahead and get it in whatever stripper that you use. I happen to use citrus strip, and I call it embalming fluid, and yeah, I've got to clean up that mess now. Let's go ahead and move on.
Someone is being exhumed.
Here we're going to dip the oxidized base in a mixture of lime away and water, a 50-50 mixture. Now you don't want to leave it in there too long, approximately 3 to 4 minutes at the most, but you still need to watch it. Let's go ahead and speed this up. And you can see how the bubbles are working and eating away that oxidation. Now this is an acid mixture, so you got to really be careful. Make sure you're wearing your safety glasses and you're wearing your safety gloves also. This is a muriatic acid and it will burn your skin, so please be careful and wear your proper safety gear. Let's go ahead and take it out of the lime away and water mixture, and here I've got a brass brush and we're going to scrub it down and get the rest of that oxidation off. Now Flitz also has a product called Metal Pre-Clean that I enjoy using also, but I've still got other things here that I want to use up, so I'm using this lime away and water mixture. Go ahead and scrub it down, and again use the brass brush. You don't want to use a steel brush on this because it will definitely scratch up your base, and if you're trying to get your restoration to look fantastic, you don't want to get it all scratched up. And we are going to polish this up in a little bit here also. That's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and move on. Here we've got the Flitz. Now I absolutely love this product. Now when you're putting it on your metal base, make sure that you only use a little bit. If you use too much, it's just going to be wasted. Just a little tiny little coating on your metal that you're going to shine up, and get your polishing tool like a Dremel or whatever brand you're using, and take these polishing wheels and just start going to town. You don't have to have these up at full speed either, because you don't want to burn the chemical that's on the base, because it will leave a residue. So turn it down a little bit and take your time and do a really good polishing job. The flitz works very, very fast. That's absolutely starting to look awesome there. Excellent. Now, I had someone ask me the other day, what's that little nipple or that little bump on the bottom of the car? Now, I don't know if it's aftermarket or whatever, but somebody made these external fuel tanks, and that little bump there is to hook the fuel tank onto so it snaps in place. And Hot Wheels, I believe, released this, but it's an external fuel tank. Now, some of your other Grand Prix cars will have these also, but that's what that little bump is for. Folks, get you some flitz. There's a section at the very end of the video that talks about flitz and a special offer from flitz that will definitely make you happy because you're going to save money. So please check it out at the end of the video. Here we've got 4 brand new meats we're going to put on the car. I got these tires from the Redline shop at www.redlineshop.com along with this tool. And these are the cap style. These are bearing style wheels. I thought they were cap style. So we're going to get these off. We got 2 medium meats for the front and we got 2 large meats for the back. Take your thumbs and put equal pressure on your wheel and that'll pop off. Just be real careful when you take these off, folks, because you don't want to snap the end of that axle and that little nipple that holds the bearings on will come off. If it's giving you a lot of resistance, then don't take any chances. Go ahead and cut that wheel off. Look at that. It broke. So now we're going to have to get that bearing out of that wheel. What I did is I took a screw, a small screw, and I screwed it into the tire and I pulled the bearing out with a pair of pliers. I put the bearing back on. Here we go. I put the bearing back on and I squeezed it with a set of fence pliers. There we go. Got a set of fence pliers and I squeezed that back on. Now this is pretty wild what I did here, okay? See if we can show you exactly what we did. I took a screw, like I said, and I put it into the bearing. Screwed it in just a little bit, and then I used a pair of pliers, and I pulled that bearing right out. Now that worked out okay. I put the bearing back on, and then I pulled the axle up just so I could fit the fence pliers on there and squeezed it. Then I had to put a little bit of Gorilla Glue because the axle on that side was sticking up a little bit and it was really not working very well. Works great now, but that Gorilla Glue held that axle down in place. So again, take your time when you're pulling your wheels off if you're going to do that. If you're really scared about it and you're going to be replacing them anyways, go ahead and cut them apart so you take it off there without damaging your bearing. And that's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. All right, well, we got the bearing fixed there, which is good. You know, we could definitely do that. Now, even though these look like regular wheels that you can pull out, you can't because they're crimped in place. So I would have had to replace the entire axle section if I didn't repair that bearing. If you need those bearings, go to Bearcat 3D Designs and talk to Grizz and have him send you a bag of those things, and you'll have them there if you need them. So let's go ahead and put these new meats on. We got 2 larges for the back, like I said before, and we got 2 mediums for the front. I thought about putting the deep dish wheels on here. I says, you know, I stuck with the regular ones because I think they look just fine. Now go ahead and put your your bearing tool on there in between the axle and the base and squeeze it on with your thumb. Sometimes you might not be able to get that tool in there, so you're just going to have to push it on and be really careful that you don't bend the axle or snap it in half. That looks excellent. Alright, this car is going to look sweet. Don't forget to go to the Redline shop, folks. They've got everything for your die-cast restoration needs, and a lot of things that you can use for other projects also. So check them out. Okay, we've got the windshield here. Now, like I said, there's a little bit of white, worn plastic or whatever. So we're going to take a file, and we're going to lightly file this down to get rid of the rough edges there on the edge of that windshield. Something to be careful of, excuse me. Just take your time when you're doing this, folks, because you can snap something or scratch something in a heartbeat, and you definitely don't want to do that. Now, they do make aftermarket windshields for this car, but you know what? This one could be fixed. And if I don't have to spend the money on it, I'm not going to. Let's get that cleaned off. That looks pretty good. Alright, well now we're going to give it a really nice coating. That'll be the finished product for this. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll grab our Pledge Revive. Or if you have Gauzy, use your Gauzy. The Pledge Revive is a better bargain because you get a lot more of the fluid for the money. But I do love the Gauzy. So go ahead and take your windshield, use your tweezers, dip it in the Pledge Revive or the Gauzy, depending on what you're using. There we go. Looking good. Let as much excess drip off as you possibly can, and then take your paper towel and wick away the excess from the windshield. You don't want that stuff pooling up. Set it on a flat surface. In case it's not done dripping off, I put paper towel underneath it. And then I put the top of the container back on to keep the dust off of it. Let's move on. We got the body all cleaned up. We didn't really need to do too much polishing to it, but we went ahead and we scrubbed it down with the Zep degreaser, and I used the citrus-based Zep degreaser here. Cleaned it off, let it dry, and then we wiped it down again with paint thinner, or lacquer thinner, excuse me. Now I'm using the Spectraflame Blue. Now I love the paints from the Redline shop, and all the Spectraflame paints, they're fantastic. Go ahead and get in all the hard to reach spots first. Up in the fender wells or up inside the body, etc. Up around the cockpit. Up underneath the engine. And make sure these are mist coats. You don't want to put out too much paint, or tack coats as we call them. It's going to be fantastic when we're finished here. We'll put a few more light coats on, and then we're going to let that set for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to come back to it and we're going to hit it with some heavier saturation coats. I'm very pleased with the way this is turning out. Now with these Spectraflame paints, one of the things you have to keep in mind is the more paint you put on, the darker the color is going to be. And that's a true case here. So once you get to the color you want, you need to stop. If you continue on putting coats on, it's going to get darker and darker and darker. Something to be aware of. Okay, we put a few more saturation coats on there, and here's the finished product. Man, does that look absolutely fantastic. That's looking really, really good.
Meanwhile, back in the graveyard.
Let's go ahead and put some decals on. I got these decals from Second Chance Redlines. Vince has a wonderful product, and you should go to Second Chance Redlines and check out what he has to offer. He's got a very large variety of decals for all your decal needs, so check out Second Chance Redlines. Let's go ahead and speed this up. You've seen me put on decals before. Here's the way the car looks after we get all the decals applied. Man, do they look absolutely beautiful. We got some sponsorship decals on the sides also, and that just sets this car off completely. I love how this turned out. Now here's all the parts. We clear coated the body over the top of the decals to protect them. That turned out absolutely beautiful. Here's the base with 4 brand new meats on there and that bearing repair that I had to do, but that looks fantastic. Here's the interior. We cleaned that up with a toothbrush and some soapy water. Here's the engine. Now we're going to go ahead and wait until we get the engine back in before we put any Molotow chrome on there, but that's going to look nice too. Here's the windshield after we got it out of the Pledge Revive and cleaned it up and filed it down. That looks great too. Let's put everything together and let's have our reveal. And here's what we started with. A Hot Wheels Indy Eagle in desperate need of a restoration. Now again, it might not look too bad from what you see, but the finish is almost absolutely flat. The windshield looks all chalky from the edge of it being worn down, probably from a kid playing with it. The wheels need to be replaced, and the body or the base has to be cleaned up and have all that tarnished removed off of it also. We took the car apart, we drilled out the post, we went ahead and we put brand new meats on there after we polished up the car with flits. We put some brand new paint on there from the Redline shop and the brand new wheels from the Redline shop. We put some brand new decals on there that we got from Vince at Second Chance Redlines. Again, please check out Second Chance Redlines. But we did everything we could to restore this car and bring it back to normal. And here's the result. Look at how beautiful this car turned out, folks. I absolutely love the way this car turned out. Now, a friend of mine who's a subscriber to the page, and he has his own YouTube page also, Scott Turner, he probably loves Indy cars more than anybody that I know, except for myself. And I'm going to give this car to Scott Turner. He absolutely loves these cars, and he loves my work, and this is just my way of saying thank you to him for being a loyal subscriber and a friend. But I'm going to get this car in the mail off to Scott, and I know he's going to enjoy it as he adds it to his collection. I can't say enough about the folks that help me out, like on my Patreon page, etc. I've got a lot of great folks. Now, if you can help me out also on my Patreon page, these folks help me with a donation every month, and this is what helps keep my YouTube channel going. So check out the Patreon link in the comments. This video is brought to you by the Redline Shop. The Redline Shop offers a complete line of products for your die-cast restoration needs, such as hoods for your car, glass tops for your car, those beautiful Redline tires, and of course the world-famous Spectre Flame paints. What a great product. The Redline Shop at www.redlineshop.com, where Redlines come to life. And don't forget about the great products of Flitz. If you go to their website at www.flitz.com, for those folks watching Diecast Graveyard videos, the folks at Flitz have got a special offer for you. if you go to their website, any product online, Flitz will offer you 20% off any product off their website. At the end of the transaction, type in the code GRAVEYARD. Now this deal is for anyone who watches Diecast Graveyard's videos, but you have to go to the Flitz website in order to get this special deal. Thank you to the great folks at Flitz. I want to say thank you for joining me today on Diecast Graveyard. We got a lot more videos coming up, folks, and if you have any suggestions, or if you happen to have a car that you want me to restore for you or customize for you, or if you want to make a donation of cars to the channel, just send me a note in the comments and I will get back to you. So hit that subscribe button and hit the like. My name is Paul with Diecast Graveyard. Have a great day and cheers.